Ha! Found him. Okay, so the guys were asking me what my favorite wiggle wart pattern was. So that's what we're going to do a video on. So I've actually got it in my hand here. So these little orange claws, this is what a lot of the crawdads around here look like. Ah, mean. But anyways, here's the bait. So it's pretty simple. Anybody can, anybody can copy this one. But anyways, we're not going to do any crawl lines. We're just going to make him look exactly like this guy. Alright, let's do it. Alright, so I've dug around the tackle box and I've found a wiggle wart that has most definitely seen better days. So this is the one I'm going to use. First step is let's get some white paint on this thing. I went ahead and painted the bill also. I like the look it gives the bait. When you paint this white, each coat you do, go all the way around the bait, but just make sure you heat set it. And take your time, don't be in a hurry. Make sure the original pattern is completely covered up. And for you guys that follow Messer Baits, you can see that we've switched hair dryers. So now we're going to use skin tone, and we're going to go across the top of the bait. You can shoot directly at the bait here. You don't have to worry about any angles. The main thing is we don't want to hit the bottom of the bait at all. We just want to go halfway up the bait. Just try to imagine a line that goes across the middle of the bait. It's probably the best thing for you to go off of. And then hit the bottom of the bill. I want to heat set this also. And now we're going to use some tequila yellow. You can order it on Amazon or get it at Hobby Lobby, either one. So we got a couple of drops of it in the gun. And we're going to take some of this Christmas tinsel and fold it over that way. It's double layered. We're going to go across the top of the bait. And as soon as you can see the color on the Christmas tinsel, that's all you need to put on the bait. Then I usually just blow it off with the hair dryer, that way I don't touch it or mess anything up. So guys, you don't have to worry about that little bit of overspray you can see on the bill. It's not going to make that much of a difference once we get done. So now we're going to be using detail sepia. We're going to go right back to that metallic mesh that we used in the last video. But I've actually used one of the, I don't even know what they're called, the circles that people use to sew with. But anyways, they work great for bait painting also, because you can stretch your stencils, whatever you're using. So we're going to lay the bait on its side, and we're going to put the belly of the bait facing away from us, and then we're just going to hit it with some sepia. You can make this as dark or light as you would like, but pretty much when I see the color, I stop spraying. So we're going to heat set this, and then we're going to do the exact same thing to the other side. But if you mess up here, don't worry about it, because you'll just have a darker crawdad, but it'll still look good. But like I said, people want to use way too much paint. Biggest thing here is, guys, is just make sure both sides look exactly the same. So if you mess up and it's darker on one side, make the other side just as dark. When we go across the top, you don't have to use a lot of paint. Just like on the sides, as soon as you see the color, you're good. I'm just checking it out, making sure it looks the same. See there, even though I make it a little darker. Guys, and make sure when you switch from sepia to clean your brush, because it's a color that likes to stick around. So now we have the bill. Pretty much what we want to do is the paint to actually shoot past the bill, and the edge of the paint is the only thing that you want to hit the bill. So it's going to shade itself for you. Just don't spray directly at it. And this is another step where you can make it as dark or as light as you would like. Just make sure to heat set it. Now it's time for the part to where you actually have to buy something. These are little stencils off of Amazon. They're used for airbrush painting. Just look up airbrush stencils. They come in a 3-pack and you get 3 different patterns. I don't use these a lot, but I like to use them on wiggle warts because they make the bottom of the bill looks cool. So now, the most important part of painting any crawdad. When you stick your tape together to make your stencil, make sure you pull it apart slowly and let the glue that's on the bottom of your tape tear apart, just like you can see there. I'm not doing it fast, because you want rough lines on the bottom. Make sure you always start in the back and not in the front, because when you start in the back, it's easier to keep distance in between the shell lines. You can just line it up. And this is just like you were doing the bill, which you see me kind of goof it there, but that's all right. Anytime you have a little mess up, like what's darker in one spot, it'll just end up looking better when it's a crawdad. It's not like a shad or a bluegill. But just make sure you keep the exact same distance all the way back and shoot onto the tape, not onto the bait. We're looking for overspray to do all the work here. So you can make them farther apart, you can make them closer together, you can pretty much do whatever you want here. So pretty much I'm doing 7 to 8 lines on the bottom of a wiggle wart. It'd be about the same on a 1.5 or a rattle trap. Now we're starting to look like a crawdad, somewhat. So we're going to get that orange and go around the eyes. I love putting the orange around the eyes. It just makes the bait pop. I know there's no orange on the crawdad there, but I love putting whatever my tail color is. Like when we tip it with orange here a minute, say we tipped it with red, then I would put red behind the black of the eyes. It just makes the bait pop, catches the eye. I don't know if it catches the eye of the fish any better, but it looks a lot cooler when you're done. Take your time painting the eyes. You don't want to get outside of that second circle you have on a wiggle wart. Now we're going to do the tail. Once again, this is overspray. You're not even aiming at the bait. You're actually painting the clamp. As you can see, I drag up onto the bait, and then I hit the eyes again. I just keep hitting the eyes until I get that dark orange. The orange I'm using is detail orange. Then I'm going to spray the front of the bill. It just fades into that sepia, gives it a cool look. that orange brown color. When you do the bottom of the bait, that's the reason we didn't do a crawl on the back of that bait, because that orange is going to take up most of that. You guys can fan it on there, or directly spray it here, because you want this to be super bright. On the top, you just want it to fade in. So now we've switched over to black. You don't have to clean your gun here. Just mix the black with the orange, and the black will actually overpower the orange. As you guys can see here, I bent the crap out of my needle, and I was being lazy, and instead of fixing it, I just kind of fanned the black onto the eye, which I'm getting ready to switch needles right here in a second, and you can tell as soon as I come back up with the other brush with black in it, comes out a lot easier. Make sure you hit dead center of this eye and just kind of rotate counterclockwise. Now you guys can see why I put that orange behind the black. So now back to the old toothbrush trick. Pretty much put as many dots as you want. I like to keep them really, really thin. So guys, here was the original when I first come up with this pattern. It's one of my favorite go-to wiggle warp patterns. It just works. So after you start slaying the bass on this pattern, make sure to send your pictures to @messerbaits on Instagram. See you guys.